Hello again, this is Andy Nicol, the course tutor for the Perfectly Spoken Advanced course. And in this lesson, lesson 36 of the course, we'll be looking at conditionals and certain aspects of conditionals. As always, this is level C1 in the Common European Framework. That's the framework that includes Cambridge exams, etc. And of course, if you're more familiar with IELTS, then it's more or less 7.5 on the IELTS scale. So, we're going to look at the following in this lesson: real and hypothetical conditionals, as well as looking at mixed conditionals to talk about different time periods. So if anything simply cannot go wrong, it will anyway, is an example of the first conditional, which we'll look at in a bit. This is a play on Murphy's Law. If anything can go wrong, it will go wrong. So here are, we're going to look at some sentences, and I'd like you to think about what time reference so what time they're talking about. So is it only the past, only the present or future, or a combination of the past and the present? So here's the first one. If I'd known Dave was going to be there, I wouldn't have gone to the party. So, if I'd known Dave was going to be there, I wouldn't have gone to the party. You didn't know Dave was going to be there, but you went to the party, but you wish you hadn't. Okay, so all of this is in the past. In the past. It's the third conditional, which we'll look at in a moment. Mary's got the tickets. What will we do if she's late? Of course, we're outside, I don't know, a theatre or a cinema. What will we do if she's late? We're talking about the future. This is the first conditional. So it's will plus infinitive, if plus present. Again, we'll look at this a bit later, 3, I wouldn't be so tired if I'd gone to bed earlier. So when are you tired? Well, you're tired now in the sentence. And in terms of going to bed, you're referring back to the past, if I'd gone to bed earlier. So this is a combination of present and past, what we call a mixed conditional. We'll look at this a bit later too. 4, if he doesn't want to come, you can always ask Paul if he's interested. Well, if he doesn't want to come is now, and you always ask Paul if he's interested is future. And the last one, that's also an example, of the first conditional. The last one, if I had the money, I'd buy you a diamond ring. If I had the money, although it's the past form of the verb, we're talking about now. It's an unreal use of the past. If I had the money, I'd buy you a diamond ring. And we're talking about the present. If I had the money now, I'd buy you a diamond ring. Second conditional. Okay, so the first conditional then is used to talk about a possible or likely situation, either in the present or in the future. For example, if I see your sister, it's quite likely, quite probable I'll see it as not something unusual, etc. I'll tell her you called. And so we've got if plus present, in this case, will plus infinitive. Can we play with the tablet when we finished our homework? Here we've used when. When is an alternative to if, and it's more sure that it will happen. If is a possibility, when is a certainty. So can we play with the tablet when we finished our homework? We've just reversed the order from the previous sentence. Can plus present, plus infinitive, and here present perfect. And then he won't be happy if you take his things without asking. So won't be is will, in this case negative, plus the infinitive, and then if plus the present. So in the first conditional, in the conditional clause, the one starting with if or alternative to if, unless, in this case when, number 2, we can use any present tense. If I see, present simple. Can we play, present simple. If you take, when we finished, present perfect, beg your pardon. And if you take, present simple. So any present tense, including present continuous. And then in the other clause, we use either a future tense, future simple, I will tell. We can use going to, present continuous for the future, or a modal verb. And the second one, can we play with the tablet, etc. Okay, so the first conditional talks about things that are likely to happen or probable. The second conditional talks about hypothetical things, or things which are not likely to happen, or indeed things that are impossible. Here are some examples. If I had the investment, if I received money from investors, I could set up my own business. It was if plus past, could plus infinitive. Would you be upset if she was constantly borrowing your clothes? Here we've got would plus infinitive, if plus past continuous. In the conditional clause, starting with if, etc., we use the past simple or continuous. In the other clause, we use would, could, or might plus the infinitive. I could set up my own business. Would you be upset? Okay, so we're talking about hypothetical things, impossible things, etc. If I were president of the USA, I would invest more money in hospitals. Okay, I'm never going to be president of the USA. First of all, you have to be born in the USA, and I'm from Scotland, so it's not going to happen. Nor would I want to do it. But if I were hypothetically president, I would invest in hospitals, schools, etc. Okay, and then the third conditional refers to the past. And similarly with the second conditional, it's hypothetical. It's something that you can't change. Either something you did and you wish you hadn't, or something you didn't do. Okay, so if I had been studying all week like you, I would have got a much better mark. You might have won if you had entered the competition. So in the conditional clause, starting with if, etc., we use past perfect or past perfect continuous. If you had entered the competition, if I had been studying. In the other clause, we use would, might, or could plus have plus a participle. I would have got, I might have won. In conditionals, with I, he, she, or it, historically, we used were in the past. It was the old subjunctive, what we call a subjunctive. Nowadays, it's acceptable to use was, and indeed people have been using was for a very long time. However, you should use were in the structure if I were you when you're giving advice. For example, if I were you, I'd tell your mum what you've done. It's giving advice. Like, you'd better tell your mum what you've done, or you should tell your mum what you've done. If I were you, I'd tell your mum what you've done. Okay, so I mentioned earlier on about mixed conditionals, because first, second conditional refer to present or future. Third conditional refers to past, but sometimes we want to combine a present and a past. So if one part of the sentence speaks about the present or future, the other part about the past, we can mix second and third conditionals. If I hadn't worked so hard when I was young, this if I hadn't worked. If plus past perfect is what we use in the third conditional, so it's referring to the past. I wouldn't be where I am today refers to now. So if I hadn't worked, third conditional past, wouldn't be second conditional present. I could have, sorry, so it should be we could have spent more time together if you weren't leaving so soon. It should be we there, sorry. We could have spent more time together if you weren't leaving so soon. Okay, so now you're going to see some sentences which contain mistakes, and what I'd like you to do is identify the mistakes. Some of the sentences, however, are correct. Okay, so you have to be on your toes. That means be prepared. So the first one, if you eat so much chocolate, you wouldn't be able to finish your dinner. Is this correct? Well, this is like a mother talking to her daughter or whatever. If you eat so much chocolate, well, here we should use the first conditional. You won't be able to finish your dinner. Okay, so it's if plus present, won't plus infinitive. We don't combine the present simple with the would plus infinitive of the second conditional. Okay, so this is if you eat so much chocolate, present simple, you won't be able to finish your dinner. That's the first conditional. Okay, the next one. I hide your trumpet if you don't stop playing it. Well, this is again, should be first conditional. So in the if clause we use present, but in the other clause we use a future tense. So I'll hide your trumpet if you don't stop playing it. Obviously the sister's really annoyed at her brother playing so loud in the living room. Okay, an example of a correct one. We would be in Argentina now if our flight hadn't been cancelled. This is an example of a mixed conditional. We'd be in Argentina now is second conditional, so it's referring to the present. If our flight hadn't been cancelled is in the past. If we left earlier, there wouldn't have been so much traffic. Well, here, both clauses should be in the past, but is the first one in the past? If we left earlier? Well, no, because we use past simple for the second conditional, which refers to present or future. So we should really be using the third conditional here, which is if we had left earlier, there wouldn't have been so much traffic. If plus past perfect, would, in this case negative wouldn't, plus have plus participle. It's all in the past, so it's third conditional. Next one. I wouldn't have bought the car if I knew it was going to break down all the time. Well, here, both should be in the past. I wouldn't have bought the car, and if I had known it was going to break down all the time. Again, this should be past perfect, not a mixed conditional, because it's at the time that you bought it that you should have known, so both of them should be in the past. Next one. If I was able to travel back in time, I would have traveled to the Middle Ages. Well, here we're talking about hypothetical. Although it's traveling back to the Middle Ages, you're talking about if you had the ability to travel back in time now, what would you do? So it should be the second conditional. So I would travel to the Middle Ages. Next one. He would be playing in this match if he didn't sprain his ankle this morning. Well, he would be playing in this match is correct because it's now. So it's second conditional. but sprain his ankle is damage the lower part of the leg. This morning is in the past, so we should use the past perfect. So if he hadn't sprained his ankle this morning, this is another example of a mixed conditional. He would be playing in this match now if he hadn't sprained his ankle this morning. There's a girl studying for her exams or doing her homework. If you've finished your homework, you can go out with your friends. That should be with small f, not capital F. Is correct. It's the first conditional. If, in this case, it's present perfect, we can use any present tense. And in the second clause, we can use will, can, or might, any modal verb. You can go out with your friends. So this is correct, except for the friends having a capital letter. It's not the situation comedy we're referring to. Okay. Another one here. I'd be extremely grateful if you send me the details of the summer courses. Well, this is an example of where we use the structure of the second conditional, but we're not talking hypothetically, it's just to make it very polite. I would be extremely grateful if you would or could send me the details of the summer courses. So, in the next lesson, which is lesson 37 of the course, we'll be looking at a vocabulary area of phones, computers, and technology. And there's a nice little image of a piece of high-tech, new tech that's come out. So again, that will be me, Andy Nicol, on vocabulary of phones, computers, and technology. Okay, so thank you for tuning in to this video, as always. I hope that you're able to join me for the next video on the vocabulary of phones and technology, etc. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.